And then this person who is also the means of perfection is clearly revealed at the end of the White Ajurveda in Ishopanishad. These verses are spoken by Guru to disciples instructions on knowledge of God. This Upanishad is placed at the end of Samhita to indicate that all actions described in the Samhita, by being applied as secondary to knowledge, will be useful to gain knowledge. The Samhita speaks about activities. The Upanishad speaks about the consciousness in which is to be done. 15th and 16th verse. The desire to make disciple qualified in the first verse, the teacher proclaims devotion of Supreme Lord, that all others are dependent upon him, thus rejecting all false notion about this independent person. Idam refers to the world composed of all conscious and non-conscious entities, excluding the Lord, and who are verified as truly existing. Isha means the Supreme Lord, the controller of things, famous as being distinct from the Jivas. It is described in texts like the following: Nyadno Dva Ajau Isha Anisho. There are two eternal beings, the Lord full of knowledge and the Jiva full of ignorance. This world is pervaded, Isha Vasham, by the Lord, or it can mean this world must be inhabited by him or must dwell always within him. The following should be remembered. Sarvatrasho samastam cha vasati atreti vat yatah tata sa vasudeveti vidvaddi paripatyate. The 39th chapter of Shukla Yajurveda deal with the deed, sacrifice and duties, karma. The last chapter dealing with knowledge. So Shukla Yajurveda first 39 chapter speaks about Samhita, Brahmanaka, Aranya, karma, what is to be done. The last chapter is only Upanishad, which is about the what consciousness it should be done. So here he is writing, the first verse declares the Tattva, highest truth, this Isha Vashyam. The first group consisting of verse 1 and 2 declares the major theme of the work, verse 1 and 2. Knowledge accompanied by work. What one should do? Okay, Lord is supreme. Then what second verse speaks about? So one should kurvan nevehe karmani vijay vichejatam sama na anyate tosti na karma lipyate nere. The karma will not bind him. He should just continue in God consciousness process, accepting Lord. That is what he is telling here. Okay, we'll go quickly. The learned people say that the Lord is called Vasudeva because he lives Vasati everywhere and everything lives within him. Jagatyam indicates as well beyond this world, Jagat, but spiritual world. Yes. They say that senses bind, intelligence, existence, power, strength, determination, Prakriti, and the soul are all Vasudeva Lord, Vishnu Sahasranam. Yeah, this is what I wanted to. Because in South India, Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, whether it is Karnataka, whether it is Telangana, whether it is Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, or Kerala, or even in North India also. But especially Iyengars and Ayers, the conclusion of them is little, especially Ayers, they think, okay, both are same and everything is impersonal, something like that. According to saying that conventional meaning overrides etymological meaning. Conventionally, Isha refers to Lord Shiva. But sometimes when the word refers, the activity should also match. So word Isha is used referring to Shiva, but the activities of Shiva is not being matched with this verse. Therefore, Vedanta Singhan says, this refers to Hari. Since it commonly refers to him as well, it is not combined with Sarva to make Sarvesha, which would specifically imply Vishnu. Therefore, Sarvesha, Sarva Esha Vashyam Sarvam Idam Sarvam, it should be. But it is Isha Vashyam. So many people may say it should be Shiva. So that is what Vedanta Singhan is taking at a Purva Paksha, opposite opponent, a question or opponent theme of debating. This is not so, he is writing, because the conventional meaning is also excluded in cases where words like Akasha, Prana, basically Akasha means ether or sky, Prana means Pranamayu. But sometimes Akasha and Prana is being used by Madhva Sampradaya. And they say Prana, Mukhya Prana or Akasha. Sometimes they refer this to indicate the Supreme Lord. This also refers to Supreme Lord, are said to be the cause of everything. So that is Vedanta Sutra 14. So Akasha Prana is not the name of Lord Hari, but that refers to Lord Hari. Like the way Akasha and Prana, when quoted, the activities of Akasha Prana is seen and then concluded this is not Akasha ether or it's not just Prana Vayu, but it is referring to the originator of Akasha and Prana. Similarly, Isha is not Ishvara, it is Sarvesha, Vishnu. That is what he is trying to quote. And there are statements such as following. What is that? Eko hai ekoha vai Narayana asit na Brahma ne eshanaha. Na Brahma na eshanaha. Only Narayana existed, not Brahma and not Shiva. Mahapanishad. This is quoting Shruti only. This Isha cannot be Shiva because in Maha there is he's quoting shloka of Eko Vai Narayana Asit. So Isha Vashamidam Sarvam. So Nara is the source of is originator of even Brahma and Shiva also. Therefore, this Isha Vasham should refer to Lord Narayana or Vishnu. Anapahat Papmaham Asmi Namani Me Dehi. So when the creation is happening, this comes in Satpata Brahmanaha, but the same thing comes in Bhagavatam, third canto, ninth or tenth chapter, 10th chapter. And there, Brahma started creating and he creates. Then when Brahmaji starts creating, then Rudra comes and Rudrayani comes. And then immediately Rudra starts asking, give me a name. Who is my wife? Which is my place? What is my activity? And then Brahma starts giving him, then starts producing so many people that those offspring starts coming to attack Brahma, to molest Brahma, I can say. So immediately Lord Hari tells Brahma, Tapa, do tapasya now. And Brahma tells, sorry, Brahma says, Shiva, don't produce now, go and do tapasya, you are meant for destruction. So anapahat papmaham asmi namani me dehi. So Shiva said, I'm not free from sin, give me names. Same thing is coming in Satpata Brahmana here, which is a part of Upanishad. Satpata Brahmana is a part of Vedas. 6139. Therefore, Lord Shiva is saying through his the quotation is in Shruti itself. By such statements, Shiva cannot be said to be the final cause of everything. Yes, someone can read this paragraph. Some devotees can volunteer to read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. By such statements, Shiva can't be said to be the final cause of the everything and is described as being controlled by karma. Therefore, it is impossible that he pervades everything and contains everything. Thus, the well-established etymological meaning, the controller of all with unobstructed powers, must be taken in this case. Though there is a difference in the case of in this verse from the use of words such as akasa, since well-known indications such as inclusion of the words ha or Hawaii are lacking in the verse. It is reasonable to reject the conventional meaning of Shiva because there is contradictory meaning to the word. Isha is the verse at hand. This is according the rule Vachanatva Yathardham Aindri Chayat. Jaimini Sutra 3.2.2. Nor can the bodies have a restricted meaning according to the rule Sarvatvam Adhikarikam Jaimini Sutra 1.2.16. Since no limitation is seen in the verse, those who maintain that there is a different Lord created for each new universe, and those who maintain that there are many Lords within the one universe are defeated by scriptural evidence establishing a single Lord who prevails through eternal time in all universes. The following verses shows that the Lord has power upon which everything else rests. Patim Vishwasvatvam me Swarvam. He is the Master, the Lord, and the soul of the universe. Mahanarayana Upanishad 13.2. Ya Sava Asau Pursa. He who is the famous Lord dwelling in the sun is that Lord is the heart. Ishopanishad 16. This verse will be explained later. verses have been quoted which prove positively that Brahma and Shiva arise from him. He is glorified as the Lord who dwells. With Ishopanishad, within everything, as the soul in statements such as Isha Sarva, Bhuta Taratma, Apahata Papam, Divyo Deva Eko, Narayanaha. Narayana is the soul within all entities, free of sin, the one shining Lord. Subala Upanishad. Though there are statements such as Sat Brahma, Sa Shiva, he is Brahma and he is Shiva. These statements mean that Narayana pervades them. When it is stated Vishwam Evedam Pursaha, Narayana is the universe. Mahanarayana Upanishad. It means that he pervades the whole universe. These descriptions show how the universe is depending on the Lord. NF has now been said to criticize the ignorant persons who haven't studied all the verses which are devoid of the conventional meaning of Isa. After making the student understand that everything is dependent on the Lord, the teacher instructs the pupil to become detached from the world. With complete detachment, takyena, towards objects, tena, which one mistakes as objects of one's own enjoyment. From seeing all the faults in the objects, one should take only what is necessary for maintaining the body, and only that which is not contrary to yoga or dharma. Thus, the goals of both knowledge with renunciation of material objects and a continued life necessitating material objects are fulfilled. Or you should enjoy a limited amount of objects by the method being explained. Since Tena it has just been described that the Lord pervades everything. Do not lust after the wealth of someone who is a friend or not a friend. Yama says to his servant, Parama Suhriti Satamatir Upayati. Yo artha tresna Parusha Pasur Nasa Vasudeva Bhaktaha. One who hankers for wealth is not a devotee of Vasudeva. Vishnu Purana 3.7.31 to 32. This rejection of wealth indicates detachment from all objects other than the Paramatma. Thus, it is stated, Paramatmani yo virakto Paramatmani sarvaisana vinurmuktasa baiksam bhoktum arhati. He who is absorbed in the Lord and is detached from everything other than the Lord is qualified to become a renunciate, free from all desires. Narada Parivrajaka Upanishad 18. Baladeva Vidya Bhusana. Translation. This visible world and whatever exists beyond perceptions is under the control of the Lord. Because of this, you should enjoy only
I think just I wanted to show Mataji regarding Vedanta Desikan, which is ended. Basically, thank you so much for reading. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we just concluded how Vedanta Desikan is quoting so many Shrutis to establish that the Supreme Personality, Isha, is not Ishvara, it should be Sarveshvara. And basically is quoting that when you quote something, Akasha Prana, it is non-living, but some shlokas are there in Shruti which indicates that is Lord Vishnu based on the activities in the third and fourth line. Similarly, based on the activities on the second, third, fourth line of this mantra one, this Isha is not Shiva because Isha refers to Lord Hari because of he is a controller, and Brahma and Shiva are not free of karma in the sense that they are not self-sufficient. They are not originating on their own. Lord Hari is the originator. That is what is quoting. Okay, so we have concluded now mantra one description fully and established that Lord Hari is owning, controlling, and one should accept only on quota, and one should not encroach on others' quota. And he was telling that uh, within the encroaching leads to fault. What is a fault? Because everything what we are having, we have to just at the end of life we have to leave it and go. So basically, whatever we encroach upon, we try hard to own. It's not so easy to disown. When you put our sweat and when you put our blood and work hard and earn money, it's not easy. It's not easy to give charity so easily. Why? Because we have earned it by putting our sweat and toil, and therefore we are getting attached to it. And to get detached from it, it's not so easy. Therefore, really, it's told uh, work with integrity and spend with honesty. Spend for charity. That is what His Holiness Radhanath Swami's statement is. Earn with integrity and spend with liberty or something like that. So what is earn with integrity? Work by honest means. And what is spend with liberty or honesty? Spend for Krishna conscious cause, for charity, for one's own maintenance, for going to Dhamma. Yeah, utilize it. Don't utilize it for unnecessarily pampering the senses. Because what happens is, whatever we earn, we try to use it for making it very, very pampering to the senses. We become attached. Bhogaishwarya prasattana maya aparta chetasam. Vyavasayatmika buddhi samodona vidiyate. So that is what is showing the fault. But when it comes to dharmic, when it comes to adhyatmic, that is not a fault. When you want to spend it for that, that liberates us. Like two cassettes, one is also rotating, another also rotating, but this side it is unveiling and this side is entangling more and more. So this is a person who is attached, a karma, person who is doing karma, and this is a karma. He is getting entangled because it is being for Guru Krishna with proper understanding. So knowledge makes the difference. So we'll go to mantra 3, mantra 2. कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि विजीविषे सतं समः एवं त्वयि नान्यते स्तोऽस्ति न कर्मा लिप्यते नरे कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि विजीविषे सतं समः एवं त्वयि नान्यते तोऽस्ति न कर्मा लिप्यते नरे कुर्वन्नीवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषे च तं समः एवं त्वयि नान्यते तोऽस्ति न कर्मा लिप्यते नरे. Any three duties can decide.
Hare Krishna. Kurvam eva karmani jivase chatam smaha evam tyai nanatyosti na karma lipte nare. Lipyate nare. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Good. Yes, Mati. Please decide.
कुर्वन् एवेह कर्माणि जीजीवेसे चातं समः एवं त्वयि नान्यते तोस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे.
कुर्वाण एवः कर्माणि जिजीविषि चातं समः एवं त्वायि नान्यते तोस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
this is the Shruti meter of reciting. कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषे च तं समः एवं त्वयि नान्यते तोस्ति न कर्मा लिप्यते नरे. High pitch. This is the way we recite the Shruti. Okay, for reciting.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. But even I was also reciting in a different way. But Shrutis have to reside in a particular meter. This is a Shruti meter. Yes. What is the meaning of Kurvan? It's very easy. If you can see the Sanskrit text, if you keep an eye on word to word meaning also, Kurvan. Doing something. What? Evehe. He can just keep on doing that thing. Karmani. Lifelong. Iha. Eva. Thus, iha. During his span. Karma. Activities. According to his Varna and Ashrama. Jiji Vichechatam Sama. One who desire to live. While doing such activity, he can live peacefully for 100 years in this life. And then evam tvai na anyate tosti. And it doesn't, there is no alternative apart from this to get free of karma, to live in such a peaceful life. And the third, fourth line, na karma lipyate nare. Why? Because just peaceful living will not entangle him in mode of goodness. That is Krishna conscious. That will unwind him. That will free him from karma bandhana, and he can go back home, back to Godhead. So we'll go to word meaning. Kurvan, doing continuously. Eva, thus iha, during the span of life. Karmani, work. Jiji vichet, one should desire to live. Satam, 100. Samaha, samaha, years. Evam, so living. Tvayi, unto you. Na, not. Anyata, alternative. Itaha, from this path. Asti, there is. Na, not. Karma, work. Lipyate, can be bound. Nare, unto a man. Basically, if you live by Ishopanishad principle, you can continuously continue to live like this in Ishopanishad principle, and there will no karma will bind you for that. And after this life, one can go back home, back to world. So now, what is the translation? Prabhupada translates it as, one may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way. What way? Mantra 1, Ishopanishad. For that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man. So basically, if you see carefully in this mantra, 4 lines, Kurvan eveha karmani jijiviche tam samah evam tvai na anyate tosti na karma lipyate nare. So one can do activity continuously, thousands, hundreds of years, and there is no alternative for a man. Why? What will not happen to him? Karma will not bind him. So therefore, Prabhupada starts with this karma bandhan, karma bondage. Why there is bondage? There is bondage because we don't refer to scriptures. When you don't refer to scriptures, what happens? That is vikarma. When you refer to scriptures and are attached, we worship some demigods and want to go to heaven, that is called karma. And when we refer to scriptures, akama, sarva kama, moksha kama, udarati, we take shelter of Lord Vishnu only, that is akarma. So the Prabhupada is going to explain about 3 kinds of karmas here. Karma bandhan, bondage by one's work. So these are the headings which Prabhupada goes through now. I'll just try to show what are the headings. So 3 types of karma. So karma bandhan is because of there will be surely 3 types of karma, and the intelligent person chooses akarma. That is what intelligent man chooses. Akarma. Then Prabhupada writes about liberation from material bondage, karma bandhan to karma yoga. What one should do by regulation, naishkarmya, and work in devotion. We should regulate that which is prescribed duty, and that which is borderline, which goes to kama karma, that should be regulated. From sense gratification, indra tripti, to kama karma, that should be regulated. And the prescribed duty by which one can earn money, that should be done with integrity, with not dishonest means. And then bhakti, 3 things. Sin should not be performed. The basic work should be done with integrity, with dharmic wise, and along with that, the consciousness should be for the pleasure of the Lord. That's the meaning by regulation and by work in devotion. So regulation means not getting into wrong areas while working, and then offering the fruits of that work for Lord, and also practicing bhakti. That will help us to overcome condition. And benefits of working in the spirit of Ishopanishad. Even if half finished, even if it is not fully finished, one will get a human form of life in the next life. And what one should do to follow this principle very nicely, this Shruti mantra is telling, okay, one can live for hundreds of years, but the Smriti, what is the best Smriti? Are, Parampara, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, the 64 principles of Bhakti Anga, which we daily perform since the morning program, and Mangala Arti, then Bhagavatam, then this type of Bhakti Shastri courses and Satsang programs and different festivals. That is nice mentioned by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So how to do Bhakti? Basically, one should do Bhakti. Then one it will come to Akarma. That is what Prabhupada writes here. Okay. So this is a brief outline. We'll just quickly go heading by heading, and then we'll come to the mantra 3. Yes. Someone would like to volunteer to start reading this purport?
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Karma Bandhana, bondage by one's work. No one wants to die. Everyone wants to live as long as we can drag on. This tendency is very visible, not only individually, but also collectively in the community, society, and nation. There is a hard struggle for life by all kinds of living entities, and the Vedas say that this is quite natural. The living being is eternal by nature, but due to his bondage in material existence, he has to change his body over and over. This process is called transmigration of the soul or karma bandhana, bondage by one's work. The living entity has to work for his livelihood because that is the law of material nature, and if he does not act according to his prescribed duties, he transgresses the law of nature and binds himself more and more to the cycle of birth and death in the many species of life.
Yes.
Should I continue, Prabhuji?
No, I'll just discuss on this. So, nobody wants to die. All of you might be remembering, 30, 40, 20 to 25 years back, the type of movies which you would see, there would be a hero. Basically, the movies would be very like having a devotional touch, or it will be having a black and white, and the king will be there, princess will be there, prince will be there. Then princess is kidnapped by some person who's a magician or some dacoit, but he's a magician, and prince or king is trying to kill him, and he has tried to keep his life inside a parrot, and so many things. And if you come to Ramayana from movie, in Ramayana, the concluding section where Lord Ram, Shri Ramchandra and Lakshman and Hanuman, Sugriva and the whole army of the Sugana, Vanarasena has reached Lanka, and suddenly Hanuman, with his Ashta Siddhi, what he makes with his own tail, he expands. He makes the whole palace with his own tail, calling it just to protect Lord Ramchandra. And then still, there is one demon, Mahiravan. Yeah, Ahiravan, you see. He's so smart. He enters, many people. He sends many of his senapatis, best of the people. And someone is trying to enter into the tail. Hanuman traps him. Somebody starts expanding, going to, he'll go on the top of the palace and enter inside and kidnap Lord Rama and Lakshman to offer as Narabali to Devi. He starts going. Accordingly, the Hanuman still keeps on expanding. And then third person, he gets in, but then he is caught by the people inside, soldiers, all Vanaras. Vanaras are inside the palace also. The tail, which is coiled in such a way. And at last, Mahiravan himself comes. And somehow, Mahiravan takes the form of Vibhushan and comes and asks when they're crossing Angada and then Sugriva. And then he tells I think there is something fishy. 2-3 people are coming, I will just go inside and come. And he takes permission of Hanuman, gets inside, and he escapes. He takes Lord Ramchandra and Lakshman for offering an arrow. And there, Hanumanji gets to know, and there's a commotion inside the palace. Sugriva starts crying out, Ram and Lakshman they are escaped. They have been kidnapped by the Mahiravan. And then Hanumanji immediately starts floating on the ocean. And then he gets knowledge from Vibhishan before going that you have to go in a particular depth. There is a particular lotus in that the pericarp. You have to, that is the way you can enter Mahiravan's Patala. And then you go and sit on there and you go. and it will be sucked inside. And as Vayu Deva is your father himself, you pray to him, he will crack all the codes for you to go inside that. Otherwise, ideally, to get inside that loka, one has to go into that lotus and have a specific mantra, then only that opens up. So all the codes Hanumanji cracks by remembering his father Vayu, and then he gets inside. There is palace, and the first palace is made of brick with big banyan trees. There is no entry with it, and there are 1 lakh soldiers behind it, Rakshasas. And Hanumanji takes that big banyan tree and wields over that brick and breaks it, and all the soldiers are broken. And then there is the next wall of steel, and with 2 lakh Rakshasas, that is also broken by Hanumanji, and it starts eating and thrashing them everywhere. And then the tank, the third wall is there and breaks that also. Description is there. Basically, I want to come to a point. And then there is a water. Once the main gate of city comes, there is a big tank, and people are taking water, and they're trying to enter inside. And there's a big entry gate which has a scanning machine, frisking machine, a scanning machine. And anybody who's envious of Mihiravan, it will start showing degree 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. And there, Hanumanji sees a lady who is not happy. And he understands, I think this is Mihiravan's sister, who's Mihiravan, like Kamsa. Mihiravan also got a Akashwani or a foretelling that sister's son will kill him, or something like that. He will become a king later on. Because of that, he had engaged his sister also, but she was in this, what do you say, Hatkadi. I mean, she was bonded by Mihiravan, but still she was also carrying the water and trying to do. That night was a Amavasya, something like that, offering water to Devi, and Ram and Lakshmana were supposed to be sacrificed there. And Hanumanji calls and tells, "I've come here to find Ram and Lakshman, and then we will make your son as a king." And then Hanumanji says, so she becomes very happy. She tells, do one thing. I'll put a leaf inside this and you sit inside, because Hanuman can become smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. He becomes small and sits on the leaf like an ant. And she enters inside the gate. Because that gate was the main entry into the palace of Mehravan. And that meter, which is frisking meter, was there. It breaks off. It crosses the limit of whatever limit it has. It becomes red alert and breaks, starts burning. And all there's this big siren. And then Hanumanji goes, and all 8 Senapatis surrounding in each palace around it. Main Airavan is in between, and 4 sides, 4, there are big Senapatis. They all start coming out. Hanumanji fights with them, kills all of them, and a particular time she tells before the entry that Mihiravan cannot be killed so easily. If you want to kill him, he has kept his life in 3 places. These 3 things has to be done simultaneously. Someone has to, there is a jewel, a diamond jewel kept in front of the sacrifice area. Someone has to break it. And back in Himalayas, there is a lamp which is kept in a cave, and one has to switch off the lamp, ghee lamp, and then simultaneously somebody has to insert weapon inside his body. Now, my lord, Ram and Lakshmana are there. Hanuman is thinking it is just some time. It's today night, 12 o'clock. He's going to offer sacrifice, and we need to do something. And he's thinking. Then he comes and unties Ram and Lakshman, and Lord Ramji takes a sword or a arrow. Lakshmanji takes a diamond, and simultaneously Hanumanji jumps to Himalaya. He goes there, and he finds that whole lamp where the lamp is burning, that cave is guarded by big snakes. And to switch off that lamp, after going there, fighting there also, he again remembers his father Vayu, and then Vayu sucks, completely makes the vacuum, and then the lamp switches off. Then Lakshman breaks the diamond, and then Lord Ram kills him. He shoots him. In that way, Mehravan is killed. What I want to tell from this two, one from a movie thing and one from this real Ramayana scene, nobody wants to die. People make so much elaborate arrangements just to live, become Amar. What all Hiranyakashipu did? Not inside, not outside, not in the daytime, not in the night time. So much of elaborate arrangement. But Prabhupada says that in SSR book, one can attract Krishna. A simple, it is better to become a simple sweet sweeper than a charlatan meditator. What it means? Bhakti is very simple. Bhakti is very simple. One can just accept Krishna's supremacy, Lord's supremacy, do bhakti, become Amara. How to become Amara? By going back home, back to Godhead. So this is secret, it's an open secret. But karmis, jnanis, yogis, and those asuras who go into karmi, yogi, and jnani, they don't understand this thing. And somebody like Prahlad Maharaj or somebody like Bali Maharaj, they can understand this thing by the mercy of devotees, by mercy of Lord Himself. But what Prabhupada is trying to make a point here is you can't maintain your body. Body will decay. And this is called as karma bandhana. The living entity has to work for his livelihood because that is how the laws of nature is. While doing that, for maintaining the status quo, he does so many things. The maximum he can do, we have seen from Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupala, Dantavakra. These are the biggest demons. Jai Vijay coming and trying to fight with Lord Vishnu. But Prabhupada says three types of karma. Yes. So how one can become eternal? For that Prabhupada gives a very simple understanding. One can be just by practicing bhakti and can become eternal. Yes, next paragraph. Good. Anybody can read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Three types of karma. Akarma, the choice of intelligent men. Other life forms are also subject to the cycle of birth and death. But when the living entity attains a human life, he gets a chance to get free from the chains of karma. Karma, 1 minute. Hare Krishna. Karma, akarma, and vikarma are very clearly described in the Bhagavad Gita. Actions that are performed in terms of unprescribed duties, as mentioned in the revealed scriptures, are called karma. Actions that free one from the cycle of birth and death are called akarma. And actions that are performed through the misuse of one's freedom and the direct one to the lower life forms are called vikarma. Prabhuji, move upward. Of these three types of action, that which frees one from the bondage to karma is preferred by intelligent men. Ordinary men wish to perform good work in order to be recognized and achieve some higher status of life in this world or in heaven. But more advanced men want to be free altogether from the actions and reactions of work. Intelligent men well know that both good and bad work equally bind one to the material misery. Consequently, they seek that work which will free them from the reactions of both good and bad work. Such liberating work is described here in the pages of the Ishopanishad.
Yes. Yes. Therefore, intelligent person they choose what? A karma. Otherwise, if you do karma, that is sanctioned in the Vedas, but that will give you punya. Vikarma, that is against the scripture that will give papa. Again, that is like sinful. You have to suffer. You have to go. Tamo gachanti tamas. Ado. You have to go down. Punya go up. But then akarma, you are where you are, but you exit from the 14th story building of the universe. You can go back home, back to Godhead. So intelligent men know that both good and bad work equally bind one to the material miseries. Consequently, they take to karma, and that is what is being mentioned in Shri Ishopanishad. Yes. How one can get liberated from this? So two things Prabhupada mentions here: regulation and work in devotion. Yes. Next devotee can read.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. The instructions of Shri Ishopanishad are more elaborately explained in the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes called the Gopi Gita Upanishad. The cream of all the Upanishads in the Bhagavad Gita 3.9 to 16, the personality of Godhead says that one cannot attain the status of Nasakarmaya or Akarma without executing the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedic literature. This literature can regulate the working energy of a human being in such a way that he can gradually realize the authority of the Supreme Being. When he realizes the authority of the personality of Godhead, Vasudeva or Krishna, it is to be understood that he has attained the stage of positive knowledge. In this purified stage, the modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, cannot act, and he is able to work on the basis of Nasa karma. Such work does not bind one to the cycle of birth and death. Hare Krishna.
What is the meaning of Neshkarmya? Neshkarmyam Acyuta Bhava Varjitam. It's called as Neshkarmya
Akarma.
doesn't mean that just not doing karma. It should bring us Achyuta Bhava. One should be Krishna conscious. Neshkarmya means that which doesn't bind us. So that is called as akarma. Execute the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedic literature. This literature can regulate the working energy of the human being in such a way that he can gradually realize the authority of Supreme Being. So many times people say that naiti naiti. No, you should not do this, you should not do that. But that's not enough. Like eating only vegetarian. Mantrabani saw. Oh, we should not eat meat. Oh, we should not eat this. But eating vegetarian. Even vegetarian eating is also, if it's not offered, it is sinful. Similarly, just not doing karma is not enough. One should develop one's love for Krishna. That is the meaning of Neshkarma Apachyuta Bhava Varjitam. So that Neshkarma is given up, which doesn't give us Achyuta. That is what Bhagavatam says, first canto. Therefore, this Neshkarma is, it should bring us close to Lord, and that should help us to realize the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. It is to be understood that he has attained the stage of positive knowledge. The goodness, passion, ignorance cannot act and is able to work on the basis of Neshkarma. Such work does not bind one to the cycle of birth and death. What is the meaning of Neshkarma? Meaning of Neshkarma is akarma, or we have the shloka in Bhagavad Gita. न शोचति न कांक्षति सम सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद भक्ति लभ्यते ब्रह्म भूत प्रसन्नात्मा न शोचति न कांक्षति सम सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद भक्ति लभ्यते परम. Similarly, one who is aspiring to practice Ishavasham principle, so he would like to do it like a soldier who fights on behalf of a country. When he kills on the border, he doesn't. He is given Paramvir Chakra. He is given award on Independence Day or on Republic Day. But the same soldier, he comes to his town back. He's staying for 1 month leave, and he takes his gun and his hand starts itching, so starts shooting people around on the street in a mall. He doesn't get. Similarly, Linesh Karma means acting according to Vedic scriptures, and also not just acting for karma or going against the Vedic literatures, acting according to the Vedic literatures for karma. That is for pleasing the Lord. And therefore, the next step is work in devotion, bhakti to overcome conditioning. Yes, someone can continue reading this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Factually, no one has to do anything more than render devotional service to the Lord. However, in the lower stages of life, one cannot immediately adopt the activities of devotional service, nor can one completely stop fruitive work. A conditioned soul is accustomed to working for sense gratification, for his own selfish interest, immediate or extended. An ordinary man works for his own sense enjoyment, and when this principle of sense enjoyment is extended to include his society, nation, or humanity in general, it assumes various attractive names such as altruism, socialism, communism, nationalism, and humanitarianism. Thus, these isms are certainly very attractive forms of karma bandhan, karmic bondage. But the Vedic instruction of Ishopanishad is that if one actually wants to live for any of the above isms, he should make them God centered. There is no harm in becoming a family man, or an altruist, a socialist, a communist, a nationalist, or humanitarian, provided that one executes his activities in relation with Ishavasya, the God centered conception. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Yes. No. We'll give it to others.
Okay.
Yes. So this
Hare
is what
Krishna,
is
Prabhu.
telling here. So Prabhupada is saying that initially we belong to a family. Initially one is very selfish, then for family, then society, then particular state, town, city, then district, then a state, then a country. Those are different isms. So conditions is accustomed to working for self gratification for oneself. Mm. But how slowly, see the center, family, my society, my city, my state, my country, humanity. So this is called as ism. Basically, he is the center, but that will not help. Okay, you are in the center. Prabhupada is giving an analogy. You like to eat, fine, but you remove onion, garlic, and whatever you like to just offer to Krishna and eat it. That is the meaning of this rendering devotional service. Begin rendering devotional service with this. You like to do something, put Krishna as center and try to do that. There is no harm in becoming a family man, altruist, a socialist, a communist, a nationalist, provided that one executes his activities in relation with Ishavasham. So Ishavasham is that, but the Vedic instruction of Sri Ishopanishad is that if one actually wants to live for any of the isms, he should make them God-centered. So basically, for in yourself, okay, you want to do something, you want to eat, you want to sleep, you want to have a married life, you want to make it Krishna in the center. Society, Krishna in the center. Any activity you do, try to put Krishna in the center. Basically, you try to offer Krishna what you like to. Begin with that. What will happen? Purification. Janma karma chame divyam evam yavachakrata tektva deham punar natanma aiti mamiti sacham. So once one starts accepting Lord supremacy, four steps are there. First step is accepting the supreme. Second thing is aligning with the supreme. So what I'm trying to tell you right now is aligning with him. The beginning thing of aligning. Okay, you accept Lord, then what? Okay, anyway I have to eat, let me offer. Anyway I have to do yat karosh, yat asnas, yat josh, yat adashyat. So acceptance is fine. Alignment, varnashram comes into picture. Whatever you like, you try to do it according to your guna karma. That is varnashram. Third thing, aligning with the supreme. Acceptance, alignment, acting on behalf, acting for the pleasure of the Lord. Okay, act. Now, okay, one step more when you get purified, when you make Lord as the center and you start practicing bhakti, start coming to temples, start reading Prabhupada books, start chanting Hare Krishna over a period of time, you start reading, okay, you start, if you read in the Nectar section, first verse, Vachuvekam, Manasukroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udarapasta Vegam, and then you read there, or should not, in the name of liking oneself, offer that food which one likes. That is also Vachuvekam, Arudaropaste Vegam, Prabhupada writes there from commentary of Anuvritti of Bhakti Saraswati Maharaj. So then he acts, okay, it's not that what I like I should do, I should act for the pleasure of the Lord. And that is how I'll be that is how I'll become happy. Because basically comes to the knowledge that I'm the cooperator. I'm not the enjoyer. That is the third step. Accepting, aligning, then acting for the pleasure. And fourth step, acting on his behalf. Become an instrument of compassion and trying to execute the will of the Lord. This is the fourth step. So, in fourth canto, in the section last 30th chapter section, there's section comes of Puranjana, and the Puranjana in the second life is a king. It's an allegorical story. Narmal is telling to Prachina Bari, although his sons have become delivered, Pachetas, they have gone and they have become purified and they're acting spiritually, but Prachina Bari is still sitting inside and then become one of us and going, practicing bhakti and going back to God, it is still attached to Karma Kanda. There Ramguri quotes an allegorical story of Puranjana, and he said Puranjana is nothing but the soul inside the city of nine holes. And Puranjana, the soul, because of the lusty intelligence, he becomes the next life a woman. In a sense, not that he's attached to his wife and therefore he becomes a woman the next life. And there, but fortunately, that woman, Vaidarabi, the husband is Malayadvaja. He is a devotee. And there are 9 sons and one daughter. And that daughter is Shutekshita, that which is learnt by hearing. Bhakti is learnt by hearing. And that 9 sons are Namida Bhakti. And of that 1 to 7, Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. Prabhupada writes, Sadhakas can only do till dasyam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Dharanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. Till dasyam, Vaidhi Sadhaka Bhaktas can do. And after that, Sakyam and Atma Nivedanam is done by pure devotees. And what is the meaning of Sakyam? Meaning of Sakyam is the fourth step. Lord, compassionate nature of the Lord for creating the material world. That is what a pure devotee knows. And therefore, he wants to burden the shoulder of the Lord to reach Krishna consciousness and reclaim the fallen conditioned souls back to God. This is the meaning of second Prabhupada writes in the purport. That is the meaning. But here, what Prabhupada is mentioning is the first step. A second step, acceptance, mantra 1, alignment in the mantra 2. This is a varnashram thing. This is like Yad Joshi, Yad Asnasi. Whatever you like, okay, live according to particular mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, or Brahmachari, Grastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. According to prescribed duties, try to make Lord in the center. Atapam Vidvashishta Varnashram Vivasa. We know that shloka. Samsiddhin Haritoshanam. The purpose of Varnashram is pleasing Lord Hari. That is what is being put here in this paragraph. And what is the benefits of working in the spirit of Ishavashyam? Prabhupada writes. So even if you like something, you want to offer it, you are doing acceptance of the Lord, alignment of the Lord, and alignment has just begun. You are not pleasing the Lord, but you're doing anyway. You're doing, therefore you are trying to offer what you like. Yat karoshi, yad asnas. Anyway, you're doing it, but you're offering it. What is the benefit of that type of bhakti? Beginning step of bhakti, Prabhupada writes, one doesn't have to take animal birth in the next life. That is what Prabhupada says. Neha vikramuna shusti pratyavana vidyate. Swalpa visi dharmasya trayato mato vayat. Yes, some devotees can read this section, this paragraph. Benefits
Hare
of
Krishna
working.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Benefits of working in the spirit of Ishavasya. In Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Lord Krishna states that God-centered activities are so valuable that just a few of them can save a person from the greatest danger. The greatest danger of life is the danger of gliding down again into the evolutionary cycle of birth and death among the 84 lakh species. In somehow or other, a man misses the spiritual opportunity offered by his human form of life and falls down again into the evolutionary cycle. He must be considered most unfortunate. Due to this defective senses, a foolish man cannot see that this is happening. Consequently, Sri Ishopanishad advises us to exert our energy in the spirit of Ishavasya. Being so engaged, we may wish to live for many, many years. Otherwise, a long life in itself has no value. A tree lives for hundreds and hundreds of years, but there is no point in living a long time, like trees, or breathing like bellows, or begetting children like hogs and dogs, or eating like camels. A humble, God-centered life is more valuable than a colossal hoax of a life dedicated to godless altruism or socialism. When altruism activities are executed in the spirit of Sri Ishopanishad, they become a form of karma yoga. Such activities are recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 18.5-9 for the guarantee their executor protection from the danger of sliding down into the evolutionary process of birth and death. Even though such God-centered activities may be half finished, they are still good for the executor because they will guarantee him a human form in the next birth. In this way, one can have another chance to improve his position on the path of liberation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It was in 2011-10. 1 year, I was given a opportunity to do programs in NIT Tiruchirappalli. And yeah, with second years, we had a center there, student center. And when we go initially, then students gather and start asking questions and other things. One of them asked, a brilliant boy, like he's passed out of IIT Kanpur now, did masters, and I don't know where he is now. But basically, I was there only for 1-2 years there before just after joining ashram. So then I was asking where it is written that Neha Bikramuna Susti, greatest danger means one will not get a animal form of life, because Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita, yeah, it will continue in the next life. So what is the meaning of the greatest danger? I told gliding into the animal species, evolution cycle of birth and death, becoming animal. Then after one month he came to me. Ha Prabhuji, I read this Ishopanishad, I got what you told you, it is there in Ishopanishad, in this here in this Bhagavad Gita 2.4 Lord Krishna, which he showed me this paragraph. So that what it is. So this Karma Yoga itself is so powerful. Karma Yoga means Varnashram. Varnashram means I like to do according to my modes, goodness, passion, ignorance. I have a nature, I want to do it. If it fits, I'll do it. If it doesn't fit, I don't do it. So basically, one is attached to what one has to do. Okay. Is my voice not audible? Hare Krishna.
Can hear Prabhuji.
We can hear you, Prabhuji. It's audible.
Now it is clear.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, it is clear, Prabhuji.
Before, compared to before now,
Little better, Prabhuji.
Better.
Slightly better. Yeah.
slightly better. Okay, no issues. So this is what importance of putting Lord in the center. The importance of putting Lord in the center is that we are saved from the greatest danger of life. Neha Vikramana Susti. What is the greatest danger? Imagine we are all working such and having such lavish life now, a comfortable life, and suddenly at the time of death everything is taken. And imagine if you are not Krishna conscious, what happens? Next life immediately, it's like over a period of time. It's going to be animalistic life if one is vikarmic. If a karma, then okay, we'll get in one form life. A karma, then surely we'll get spiritual life. Therefore, this is what is Prabhupada is trying to tell here. Charlatan meditator. It's better to become a humble sweet sweeper than a charlatan meditator. What it means? The same line Prabhupada writing here. A humble, God-centered life is more valuable than colossal hooks of life dedicated to godless altruism or socialism. We may do big things, but if we don't bring Krishna in the center, ultimately it's a big loss. It's like building castle on the beach. Water is going to come and break everything. So therefore, Prabhupada writes here, everything has to be executed in the spirit of Ishopanishad. And that is Prabhupada's quoting Karma Yoga. When it executes initially, like most of us, we are working, but we are trying to practice Krishna consciousness. But the major period of our time, we are trying to work. But one benefit is here, traditional Karma Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, it takes us a big ladder. It takes lifetime. From Karma Yoga, first from atheistic, uncivilized, Nastika, Astika, then Karma, Kanda, then Upasana, then Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga, then Ashtanga Yoga, and then Bhakti Yoga. It takes lifetime. Bhavanam Janmanam. But all glories to the Gaudiya Ashram, Vaishnava Acharyas, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Dasashramita Ghat he gave to the knowledge which the type of bhakti has revealed to Rupa Goswami. When you come to nectar of devotion, you will relish this because now we are reading Shruti. NOI I already read. Generally Shruti, that is Ishopanishad, then Bhagavad Gita, then NOI, then NOD. Why? Because in Shruti, you will start from Shruti, then understand how much difficult it is. NOI takes you directly to the Radha Kund initially only. So Shruti means how much difficult it is to know Lord. Then when you go from there to Bhagavad Gita, then Yoga ladder. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. It takes lifetimes, many lifetimes to go to that part. Then you come to NOD. Then you understand, okay, this yoga ladder is divided into two parts. For Bhagavad Gita, yoga ladder is karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti. It takes lifetimes. But the NOD speaks about Rupa Goswami has given this. You are able to see my finger. It has three parts: 1, 2, 3. This is sadhana bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, Kalamajit Vaidhi sadhana, Raganuga bhakti. And then this middle part is the Bhava bhakti, and then this prem bhakti. And we can come. And this Vaidhi sadhana bhakti is Nishkama Karma in the Yoga ladder which will learn in Bhagavad Gita. Basically, you have to come through so much, and then goes to lifetime. But in one lifetime, by practicing this type of bhakti which is given, Anarpitam Charim Chirat, Chaitanya Charitam speaks, it was never given before to anyone, nor it will be given to past, nor will be given in future. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come to you in one shot, in one lifetime. If you just practice it, it can take you so many lifetimes of journey. In one lifetime, you can prepare just by chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna, following 4 principles, aligning with the Guru and devotees, and trying to practice bhakti amongst them. So this is called as sadhana bhakti, bhav bhakti, prem bhakti. That whole ladder is divided into directly. The entry point here is nishkama karma. That is what do it for Krishna, do it for Krishna. Rather than this is not for me, this is not for me, I have to become detached. Here, do get attached to some, not some, to the Supreme Lord Hari. So that is how it is made so attractive by the Goswamis in act of devotion. Then Vachogam, Manasaprodayogam, understanding the Vishay Vastu, what we are trying to get, what we are getting this one lifetime, we can practice. Then Annoy, Mantra 1, Mantra, verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, deal nicely with the devotees, Mantra, verse 4, and then accept Uttam Adhikari as a spiritual master. And then heights goes on Mathura, then Vrindavan, then Govardhan, then Radhakund, from stairs to stars. That is a journey culminates there. How one should practice the Gaudiya Vaishnava principles in one life. Yes. And that is therefore I'm going to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu now. That is what Prabhupada is quoting here at the end. Yes. One last section. Can somebody conclude with this reading?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Yes, Arvind Prabhu.
Yeah, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, practical guide for applying Ishavasya principle. How one can execute God-centered activities is elaborately explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. We have rendered this book into English as the Nectar of Devotion. We recommend this valuable book to all who are interested in performing their activities in the spirit of Sri Ishopanishad.
So that is what I was telling. How one can execute God-centered activities elaborately explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So after Smriti Bhagavad Gita, then when you go to NOD, which is also Smriti, so there the whole journey of my lifetimes of yogic process is just condensed into one. By Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and Six Goswami's mercy. And therefore we say, Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapita Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. After Guru Mantra, we say Om Adyantimurtase, we say Rup Goswami. Because of this, the Shastri Ghat in Varanasi, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave, it was compiled by Rup Goswami and his brother Sanatan Goswami. And Rup Goswami was specifically written by Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was written by Rup Goswami. And therefore, we offer that second period to Rup Goswami. We are called as Rupanugas. And therefore, the whole thing is made easy and practically applicable in 64 principles, which you learn in Act of Devotion. The Prabhupada is saying, so after Ishopanishad, after Bhagavata, try to read Nectar of Devotion to understand how to make these God-centered activities, how to make Krishna conscious activities in one's life. Hare Krishna, any questions? We haven't concluded with mantra 2. Benefits of following Ishavasya principle. So this is what it is. One can peacefully execute one's duties and then get liberated. So making God-centered activities is so powerful that liberates us from the cycle of birth and death, akarma, and takes us back to God. Hare Krishna. So no comments, and we'll go with mantra. Next mantra. Mantra 4. Anejadekam manso javiyo nainadevam. So we have to go to mantra 3, not mantra 4. It is mantra 3. Yes, mantra 3. आसुर्य नाम ते लोका अंधेन तमसावृता तांस्ते प्रत्याभिगच्छन्ति एके चात्महनो जनाः आसुर्य नाम ते लोका अंधेन तमसावृता तांस्ते प्रत्याभिगच्छन्ति एके चात्महनो जनः आसुर्य नाम ते लोका अंधेन तमसावृता तांस्ते प्रत्याभिगच्छन्ति एके चात्महनो जनः. Yes, two devotees can recite this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Asuryanamate loka andena tamasavritah tamste pretyabhigachanti yeke chatmahano janaha.
Devotee.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I will also try. Asuryanamate loka andena tama sarvataha tamste pratyabhigachanti yeke chatmahano janaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So word meaning Asurya meant for asuras. Nama famous by the name. Te those loka planets. Andena by ignorance. Tamasa by darkness. Avrita covered. Tan those planets. Te they pritya after death. Abhigachanti enter into. Anyone. Ke everyone. Cha and Atmahana the killers of the soul. Janaha persons. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. So basically, soul is never killed. You have seen Bhagavad Gita, Nainam Chinnanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka. So, but here, why it is told killer of the souls? Can someone tell why this word is used here, killer of the soul? Soul cannot be killed.
Does it, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, does it mean the spiritual death?
Yeah, what it means?
Like if you are not Krishna conscious and you wasted your life, you basically killed the chance of your spirit.
Yes, very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj. Anybody else? What is Atmahana?
So actually, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So basically, the tendency of soul is to get attracted towards Paramatma or Krishna.
Bhagavan.
So Bhagavan, yeah. So when we are deviating it or we are not guiding it into the direction, then it is like hacha to that soul.
Yeah. So when generally we are supposed to be attracted to the Lord, but when we are running away, going opposite direction, it's like killing that spirit or killing that opportunity. Very nice. Anybody else? Yes, somebody else would like to try. What is the meaning of Atmahana? Why Atma cannot be killed? Soul is never killed. But what is the meaning of Atmahana?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it means like you are more concerned about the body, not the soul. Like you are thinking, my body is everything. Death and birth is only for body, not the soul.
Yes, very close. It's like that woman we hear in the story. She brought the parrot and she kept it in the golden cage, but she was polishing the cage with golden paint, gold plating, but she forgot to feed the parrot. The parrot was dead. So basically, Atmahana means we have got a human form of life, and basically, soul is Sachitananda and body is Asat Achita Niranda. It's an incompatibility match, soul and body. Basically, Jivatma is eternally pure in the spiritual world, but it has to be with this body filled with mucus, bile, air, stool, urine, so many things from 9 holes to 9 things and still is trying to enjoy it. And okay, best is a bad bargain. We have got a human form of life. Let us inquire from 5 years of age about God. No, it is not done. The whole human life is gone, and it's like somebody is trapped inside a big cave Sometimes we see some people go on for adventure in forest, and somehow they slip and they just go into a big ditch, and they're trying to come out, and then they get in, and they're not able to climb up because such a big ditch. Somehow or the other, they're entangled inside the grass, and they're trying to enter the cave, and when they come to the cave, there's no light, and they're trying to touch and feel where is door, where is door, where is door. Similarly, there is one door out of 84 lakh species. That falling is from falling on the spiritual world, and entering into the ditch or a cave is human, it's a body. We are getting a human body. From spiritual body, we're getting material body, and then we are trying our best to come out of that position to go back to water, and we're trying to touch where is the door. 80, all the different doors are animal species. Different species doors. We can't realize Lord, but only in human form of life we can realize Lord. And when that door comes, we lose hope and tell, okay, I've tried so much, I think this is also not the door, and we just stop, and next we go and again we touch, and we miss it. So basically, we have got opportunity to come out of the cycle of birth and death, but rather than coming out of the cycle of birth and death, we just continue with the bodily conception of life. Either we go down, or if we do something good, punya, we go up, but we miss an opportunity to go back on the body. Therefore, it is called as Atmahana, misusing one's human form of life for not realizing Krishna. Therefore, it is called as Atmahana. Okay, so let's go quickly now. So Prabhupada starts with, that means human form of life out of 84 lakh species. This one species of human form is very, very rare. He says that is serious responsibility of human life. The responsibility of human life is very, very serious because it's one among so many species. And Prabhupada starts with suras and asuras. जो भगवान की हाँ में हाँ मिलाते हैं उनको सुर बताते हैं, और जो हाँ नहीं मिलाते उनको असुर बताते हैं. So that is what we see in Samudra Manthan Leela from 8th canto. It comes in 10th, 15th chapter, 10th, 12th chapter, Samudra Manthan Leela, where Bali Maharaj and Indra, they combinedly shake hand together to get the nectar of ambrosial nectar of Amrit, by which they can become Amar. So Prabhupada says here, the same Amaratva one can receive by Ishavasham. So someone can read this Suras and Asuras.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Serious responsibility of human life, Suras and Asuras. Human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibilities. Those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit are called Suras, godly person, and those who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them are called Asuras, demons. Throughout the universe, there are only two types of human being. In the Rig Veda, it is stated that the Suras always aim to the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Vishnu and act accordingly. Their ways are as illuminated as the path of the sun. Continue, Prabhuji.
Actually, this Suras and Asuras Prabhupada is writing here. This paragraph is a translation of one of the mantra, that Sada Pashyanti Surya. Their path is illuminated. Those who follow Lord Vishnu, their life, their path is illuminated as if one is walking in the big hot sunlight. This is a mantra which is recited by the Brahmanas. So that is a translation of this mantra. Pashyanti Surya, the devotees of Vishnu. Yes. So the second is, Prahlad Maharaj says in his Bhagavatam 7th canto. So why it is Atmahana, human form of life? It's a heavy responsibility. What is the responsibility of somebody falls in a ditch? His first responsibility to come out of the ditch. You come to the material world, the first responsibility should be how we can come out of this material world. But we miss it, and we are going in a train. We want to go, or somebody is going through flight, or somebody is going to train. On the way, he sees some very attractive, a nice halwai shop where there is very nice sweet item or a very nice chaat item or person, and he wants to buy, but he misses a flight. What is the point? Or somebody is in a train and he comes across a station, and he gets somebody comes and he sees 3 platforms that side. There's a very nice shop which is favorite sweet item is there. He gets down. There's only 1 minute stop, 2 minute stop. He gets down. By the time he comes back, the train is gone. Purpose is lost. So similarly, human form of life is it's a flight or it's a train to go back home afterward, rather than utilizing for it. If somebody is simply neglectful of that, and simply in bodily consciousness of life, then what is the point? It's called Atmahana. That is what Prabhupada is trying to tell. And therefore, saying this human form of life is so durlabham and it is arthadam. It's not only rare, it's rarest. And in this human form of life, one can do something worth. One can come out of it Achit, Nirananda, and this body, which is completely against Satchit Ananda. One can come out of it. One can make solution for it. Yes, continue, Mataji. Sudurlabham.
Yes, Prabhuji. Sudralam, human life, form of life is extremely rare in its purpose. Intelligent human being must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many millions of years in the cycle of transmigration. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean, and the human body is compared to a solid boat designed especially to cross this ocean. The Vedic scriptures and the acharyas or saintly teachers are compared to expert boatmen, and the facilities of the human body are compared to favorable breeze that help the boat fly smoothly to its desired destination. If with all these facilities, a human being does not fully utilize his life for self-realization, he must be considered an Atmaha, a killer of the soul. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11 Canto 20 chapter 17 Shloka, Shri Ishopanishad warned in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into the darkest region of ignorance to suffer perpetually.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is writing here. If you see carefully, this analogy, material world is like ocean, human body is boat, and scriptures and acharyas are like expert boatman, and the facilities of the human body are compared to the favorable breezes. I know you have a boat, you have a boatman, expert boatman or commander, and if the olden days the boats used to not have any engine, something like that. They used to have flaps to go left and right, but majorly by the wind they used to go. They will tie cloth and then that will push them. That means human body is like favorable breeze. That's everybody has got a boat of animal species, but that will not go ahead. That will not go to the desired destination. But that human form of life is compared to the cloth. And even if the cloth is there, the favorable breezes are not there, the boat will not go. So all bodies are compared to the boat, but human body is compared to the boat. But without the favorable breeze, the boat will not go ahead. So similarly, one can travel ahead because in this human form of life, these are the breezes, these facilities of the human form of life. One can read Vedas, one can practice yoga, come to Bhakti yoga, one can accept a spiritual master. All the 64 limbs of Bhakti given in Bhakti Samrit Sindhu, that are the facilities one gets in human form of life, practice Bhakti. And therefore, missing this facility is compared to death of a soul. Yes, somebody else can read the next section. The first part is Durlubham, rarest, and it is Arthadam. That is Prahlad Maharaj says in his 7th canto of Bhagavatam. Yes.
Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah, if nobody is there, then you can continue.
Third, Arthadam, human form of life is important and valuable. There are swine, dogs, camels, asses, etc., whose economic necessities are just as important to them as are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved only under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the law of nature because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Why is man given a better life than that of the swine and other animals? Why is a highly placed government servant given better facility than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that a highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the duties human beings have to perform are higher than those animals who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomachs. Yet the modern soul-killing civilization has only increased the problem of the hungry stomach. When we approach a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man and ask him to take interest in self-realization, he will say that he simply want to work to satisfy his stomach and that there is no need of self-realization for a hungry man. The laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite his denunciation of the need for self-realization and his eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he is always threatened by unemployment.
Prabhupada is telling, Bhakti is so easy, but when you approach people for Bhakti, they say, no, we have no time. But despite all these things, although they're working so hard, out of 24 hours, 18 hours, still there's no employment. Either they're fired or they're not placed despite working so hard. That is what happens. Yes. So what is the consequence of neglecting the responsibility of human life? So human form of life is arthadam. We can put solution. No need to work so hard. So breaking of bricks is not a profession. When someone comes to prison, he is given a cloth and he is given a hathoda to break bricks, to break stones, to do big, to dig big holes. So that is a punishment. So similarly, when we come to the human form of life, when we take this body, we have to keep a status quo. We have to have a lavish 1.1 crore, 1.5 crore flat, EMI, this, that, then that accordingly, that kind of 25-30 lakhs vehicle. It's like you have to go morning, come in the evening. This is not a profession for a soul which is in the spiritual world. Every word is a song and every walk is a dance. Every speech is a song. For him, it's a punishment. Like a prisoner is trying to hit hard. Easily outside the prison, there are people who are civilized people, civilians who are easily eating nicely. But that prisoner has to do solid work throughout the day. Then he gets sukha roti, which is half baked, and jalawa dal, and that is what he gets. So therefore, it's a punishment. It's not a profession. So therefore, what you are doing in the human body is not a profession. It's a punishment. Otherwise, one is peacefully, one can sit and peacefully eat prasad without doing anything. That is what is spiritual world. That is what soul does in spiritual world. Only one is he's pleasing Krishna, is serving Krishna. Yes, consequence of neglecting the responsibility of human life. Yes, Mataji, continue. Quickly, we'll finish. Last week.
Prabhuji, I will read Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you continue, Mataji, you continue.
Consequences of neglecting the responsibilities of human life. We are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine, and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self-realization, the laws of nature force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard, like the asses and bullocks that pull carts. Some of the regions where the asuras are sent to work are revealed in this verse of Sri Ishopanishad. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asurya planets and take birth in degraded species of life to work hard in ignorance and darkness. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Particular planet Prabhupada is mentioning here, Asurya planet, where you get a particular psychophysical body, where you can, rather than working 14 hours, you can work for 20 hours and still be not getting anything to eat, something like that. So therefore, we get so easily to eat. But the dog, a cat, animal, their conditions of eating, sleeping, mating are so badly. It is provided in a very, very horrible way. You can see that the other species apart from human species, the human species only there's arrangement for eating, sleeping, coming together and defending. But then any other species, it's so tough. So that is a punishment. That is therefore this facility is given. There is a responsibility. There is a facility. Why there is dharma? Why there is culture in human form of life? Because culture, along with culture, the Varnashram culture, one can realize Krishna and go back to God. That is a facility. And the responsibility is practicing bhakti and going back to God. Unsuccessful attempt versus no attempt. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, please read.
Unsuccessful attempt versus no attempt. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, 41 to 43, it is stated that a man who enters upon the path of self-realization but does not complete the process despite having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with God is given a chance to appear in a family of Suchi or Srimat. The word Suchi indicates a spiritually advanced Brahmana and Srimat indicates a Vaisya, a member of the mercantile community. So the person who fails to achieve self-realization is given a better chance in his next life due to his sincere efforts in this life. If even a fallen candidate is given a chance to take birth in a respectable and noble family, one can hardly imagine the status of one who has achieved success. By those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered by illusion, who are too materialistic and too attached to material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest regions of hell, as confirmed through the Vedic literature. Such materialistic asuras sometimes make a show of religion, but their ultimate aim is material prosperity. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, sloka number 17 to 18, rebukes such men by calling them Atma Sambhavita, meaning that they are considered great only on the strength of deception and are empowered by the votes of the ignorant and by their own material wealth. Such asuras devoid of self-realization and knowledge of Ishavasya, the Lord's universal proprietorship, are certain to enter into the darkest regions. Karma to Bhakti. The conclusion is that as human beings, we are meant not simply for solving economic problems on a tottering platform, but for solving all the problems of material life into which we have been placed by the laws of nature. Hare Krishna.
We have successfully completed 2 mantras today. So Prabhupada is telling why these people don't get any head, because even if we attempt materially, we fail. Again we have to attempt. Again we have to start from scratch. But spiritually, we attempt and we are not successful. If we don't go back to God in this life, no issue in the next life, no issues. We don't have to become blacks, but still there is hope. Shrutinam Shimatam Gehe. Lord gives a facility to accept a human body in a rich person's home or in a very elevated soul's home. We have done little material opulence. We have done lot spiritual opulence. So that is no unsuccessful attempt. So rather than being even if you are feeling, people many times think ना रे किसको पता भक्ति करके जा हो पाएगा नहीं, कौन कर पाता है साक्षात्कार, भगवान थोड़ी इतने आसानी से मिल सकते हैं. ये हरे कृष्णा करने से, ये भक्ति शास्त्री अटेंड करने से, by attending भक्ति शास्त्री, by doing all these things, by going to this place, do you think you're going to realize this has to be done? You have to go through your life, and then when you become old, okay, that time nothing is there, you can't do anything worth materially, then you can do bhakti, something like people say. That is no attempt at all. So unsuccessful attempt has such a big benefit. So it's a win-win case, Prabhupada says. So I'll just conclude. There are 4 minutes. Once a person came to Prabhupada, Danurdhar Maharaj writes in his book, Pastime Prabhupada. Danurdhar Maharaj was a basketball player. And when in West, everybody has friend, boyfriend, girlfriend. And he has a bunch of big friends in basketball team, and there will be many people to cheer also. And then suddenly he comes to Krishna consciousness, he gets a book, he moves inside the temple. First day he's going into, he's going out on Harinam. And suddenly all his friends say, hey, what happened to you? You're wearing a bed sheet and you're wearing white, some shirt and type tilak and you're raising hand and doing all these things. And suddenly some of them approach him and they try to pull him and take him back. And Dhanvir Maharaj sees them, sees the Sankirtan party, and he makes a choice. I'll stay with devotees. And then one person comes to Prabhupada at the end, and he's trying to speak with Prabhupada. And he's saying to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, what if at the end of your life you will come to know Krishna not there? Prabhupada says, while living, we are living such a clean life. Our mind is saturated with pure thoughts. The type of food we are eating is a high class food. The type of places we are going, we have so many temples all over the world. We are visiting amazing places, new people, new cuisine, already offered to Krishna, we are enjoying. People enjoy through these things materially. New place, new people, new food. In Krishna consciousness, everything is offered all over the world. And then Prabhupada turned back to me and asked him, what if you come to know that Krishna is there? Materially, you enjoyed. But once you got to know that Krishna is there, what will happen to you at the end of life? So whether Krishna is not there, we are one. And if Krishna is there also, then after while practicing Krishna consciousness, we go back to Godhead. So it's a win-win case. But for others who don't make any attempt, it's a lose-lose case. They are not attempting, they are losing opportunity to live such a amazing, wonderful, how prasad tastes. People may not like philosophy. People may not like Prabhupada books, nonsense so much. But it comes to prasad, nobody can resist. One American devotee had come to Chandigarh, Rath Yatra, long back. He liked that butter halwa so much. He took a whole bucket of butter halwa and kept it in his room. And while eating and eating, he ate one drone. He took another drone. He took another drone. Ultimately, the whole bucket was finished. 10 liters, 12 liters of halwa. And it went inside his stomach. And after half an hour, it was paining him so much they had to take him to the hospital. And his whole stomach was like a season. It was cut. And then the whole halwa was removed. And then it was stitched. And when he comes to now somewhere when devotees meeting, he shows when he takes bath, when he goes to the prasad river side, the devotee asks, "What is this?" He told, "This is a prasadam effect. I ate so much prasad that I had to get operated." So people are so fascinated by prasad. Basically, people enjoy these three things: new place, new people, good food, and one gets amazingly in Krishna consciousness. All throughout the world, you have ISKCON temples. All throughout the world, you have people who are devotees whom you can relate with, and that too on a common platform. And prasad, whether you go to Italy, there's pizza. Whether you go to US, there is that kind of cuisine, different cuisines. So therefore, at least you should try to attempt to become Krishna conscious. That is what Prabhupada is ending here. So mantra 1, Lord is the supreme creator and controller. One should abide by one's quota and not enter on others' quota. Mantra 2, benefits of abiding the quota. They live peacefully. Now one may say, why they are not able to live peacefully? Why there is Trita? Prabhupada says, why there is Trita? Because there is no Varnashram being followed. If you want to refer, you can refer. It's already time of 8:30. We do not delay. Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 5th chapter, 37th verse. Bhagavatam 2:5:37. If somebody wants to note down, they can note down. 2:5:37. Prabhupada says, why there is Tritap in the Kali Yuga? Because of Varnashram not being followed. And there he brings his Ishopanishad mantra invocation, Purnamada. The world is complete, and Lord has made this system of Varnashram. And because people are not following it, because the head, Brahmanas are like the head, Sannyasis are like the head of the society. And then Kshatriyas are like the protective. And then Vanaprasthas are like that, hands. And then Grahasthas are Vaishyas are like the stomach, Goraksha Vanijyam. They provide the business and they give the tax to the government. And then Shudras are like the leg, but it's a universal body of the Lord. Lord's feet, Lord's belly, Lord's shoulder, Lord's head. Everything is same. Shankaracharya says Ganga is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord, and Bhagavad Gita is coming from the lotus mouth of the Lord. So when somebody goes and takes dip in Ganga, he reverses Krishna consciousness. He comes close to Krishna. And even if somebody hears Bhagavad Gita, he also comes close to Krishna, becomes a devotee. Therefore, there is no difference between Lord's feet and Lord's head. So this Varnashram is the body of the Lord. And because the kings or the leaders are not Krishna conscious, and therefore materially Tritapa is prevalent in Kali Yuga. Otherwise, wherever this Varnashram is followed strictly, Lord Ram's time, Lord Krishna's time, people used to come with a complaint, my son is dying. And Krishna had to go with Arjuna to Mahavishnu, bring the dead son of the Brahmana back. Because Mahavishnu wanted to take. That was only Kala Mrityu that time. And Ramchandra's time, suddenly there was some effect. And then someone came inside and complained how it is happening to me. Then they got to show that the unqualified person is trying to read scriptures and trying to manipulate it. And then Ramchandra goes and sets it up. A person who is in a lower cadre cannot come and do the things of a Brahmanical cadre. So that is the reason materially why there is Tap Tritap. but the world is Purna because of not qualified leaders in Kali Yuga. There is suffering. Otherwise, Bhakti, we practice Bhakti till the time that doesn't come up globally. We can practice Bhakti, purify our heart, and come back to Godhead while enduring the material sufferings. And that is just a small token for that, which we can get eternal life full of bliss. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you once again for coming today. And Dasraj ko thank you for coordinating the meeting today. I should have done it tomorrow, but because of some urgency, I'll try to stick further more classes as much as possible on Monday and Friday because I keep on traveling. Sunday I travel back, Monday if I come back, then it's in train, so it becomes difficult. But I'll try to stick as much as possible to Monday and Friday. But I'm just giving, if not, it will be one. If all of you be prepared for one day shift here and there, because then tomorrow there will be no class. But yeah, surely your calendar will be. But it's only 6 more. We have done with 4 classes now, and yeah, 4 classes, and seven more classes more. That means 3 and 4 weeks more. Ishopanishad will be concluded. Hare Krishna. So Monday we'll start with the second section. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Lord
Jai.
Jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.